Hey lovelies, it's Peter here from Strong Healthy Women. Welcome to Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips and advice about the foundations of well-being. And what I've been thinking about today quite a bit is 2020. And what I've been hearing a lot is how everybody is going, thank goodness it's over and done with. But I actually want to get you to actually think about what 2020 has brought to your life. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab out your journal, okay? Whatever type of little journal you have, it doesn't matter what it is, just grab one out. And now is the time to sit down and do some really serious reflecting. And you don't have to do it all in one go. You can split it up over a period of time. But what's really, really important here is to not dwell on all of the things that you've had no control over whatsoever, because there has been a lot of that. But the things that you have had control over, the things that you have enjoyed doing, and you may have implemented some new routines or habits or daily practices, whatever you want to call them, into your daily life. And if they are things that are something that are totally resonating with you right now and that you're going to keep them in your daily life, then they need to go on your planner for 2021. So, step one, grab your journal out. Step two, let's get reflecting on what are the things that 2020 has taught you. Okay, so we're going to focus on the positive, as I said, but I also want you to reflect on the things that you found quite overwhelming, distracting, that really pushed your boundaries. And with those things, I want you to grab out a sheet of paper, doesn't matter, just grab a notebook, clean sheet of paper. I want you to write them down. So those things that have been thrown at you that have been really, really weighing you down, I want you to write them down, get them on that piece of paper. That's the first step. Then what I want you to do is to get a shovel out. I want you to head out to your garden. I want you to dig a hole, because you're going to get exercise doing that as well too. And then what I want you to do is put that piece of paper into that hole and bury it. Okay, so that is how you get to say goodbye to all of those troubles, all of that overwhelm, those things that have been causing you some angst in your life. That's how you're going to get rid of them, is just write them all down. Because when you write them down, you're getting them out of your head. It's really, really important to get them out of your head. And then when you get them out of your head, what we're saying is when we bury them, they're gone. Over and done with. Now there is another way, of course, too, if you're going for it. You can actually, over the kitchen sink, you could burn that little piece of paper as well. That's another way of doing it. But I wouldn't encourage you, particularly if you're living in Australia. We have had some fires already burning. It's summer here, so it may not be the best idea. So maybe the garden and digging a little hole is where you want to go. So as I said, it's reflection time. Reflection in two areas. The things that you've learnt, the things that 2020 have allowed you the opportunity to grow from. The things that have happened that have caused you heartache. I want you to let go of those things because you don't want them in your life any longer. So what's going to happen next? The next thing is, I want you to think about really what 2021 means to you. What do you want 2020 to be all about? Now, one of the things that I particularly really love is having a word, some type of word that represents what 2021 is going to be. So that's another little job for your reflection time in your journal, just sitting down and thinking, okay, what word am I going to use, or it could be a phrase, that represents every decision, that backs every decision that I'm going to make in 2021, that I'm going to feel really, really comfortable with. Okay, so you're looking for a word or a phrase that is your guiding light for 2021. And that's what's going to go in your journal for 2021. That's going to lead you into making decisions, living the life that you want to live. Okay, so here's the next part of it. I want you to think about what health, well-being, fitness, all of those things actually mean to you. Because what I know about this is that it doesn't necessarily mean tight abs, tight glutes, and beautiful looking arms and legs. It might mean that to you, but it may not either. And I think what happens is, as we start to get wiser in our years, we really do start to think about our health and what's important to us. We also think about it from a different perspective. Let's face it, us girls all want to have a flat tummy, and we all want to have toned looking arms, and we don't want that tuck shop lady arms that, when you wave, this bit underneath waves with you as well too. We don't want that. And there are things that you can do from an exercise perspective that's going to help you tone those parts of your body. So the first step though is for you to really do some reflection on what well-being means to you, what health means to you, what fitness means to you. Write it down. It doesn't matter what it is and whether it's traditional or whether it's something like somebody else has got on their piece of paper, because this is about you and what it means to you. Okay, so are you doing this as we're working along today? I hope so, but if you're not, you can always go back and re-listen to it and do it as you're ready to do it. Okay, but here's what I want, is I really want you to do this, to take action. I really want you to do it before we get any further into 2020. There's only a couple of weeks left, and so for many of us what happens is we leave it till 2021 to start thinking about that year. And it's great to live in the present moment, don't get me wrong. It is really great to live in the present moment. But if there is something that is not going to be something that you can get straight away, then what you want to do is you want to start planning for it now. Oh, I've got you thinking, Tess. Oh, good. Thanks for chiming in. Hey, Tess. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to start to think about the word that's going to represent 2021 for us. We are going to start thinking about what health, well-being, fitness means to us. And then from there, we need to start to look at what are those takeaways from 2020 that really worked for us and put them onto the plan for 2021. But we really want to delve into that 2021 plan, what we want, how we want our life to be. And what we need to do is start to put some actions in place. Now, wow, actions. Actions can take a little bit of work. Actually, actions can take a lot of work. And what happens is life just throws things at us all the time. And we do get distracted. And hey, us girls, we put ourselves last. Or most of us do anyway. And so when someone asks us to do something, or someone else is having a bad day, what happens is we're there trying to lift them up. When internally we may have had a bad day, or we might be feeling just a little bit blah, and we want someone to lift us up. But we seem to think that we need to lift everybody else up. But we don't. We don't, because we need to take care of ourselves. And so that goes against us girls. It's a wonderful thing that we're nurturing and that we care about people, but it also means that we will put others first before ourselves. So every single time you get asked to do something for somebody else, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to go back to that journal, look at the word that's driving 2021 for you. Look at what health, well-being and fitness means to you. And allow those things to just wash over you a little bit, and to take the opportunity to think about this decision that I'm going to make right now. Is it actually in my interests? Is it moving me closer to that word and those desires? Or is it taking me further away from them? Because that will give you an indication about whether you have to say yes or whether you have to say no. And here's the other thing that I want you to think about as well too, that it is okay to say no. And the other aspect of saying no is you don't need to give excuses, although we do want to be well-mannered and caring still about when we do say no. So it might just be, I'd love to help you out, but that's just not going to work for me right now. That's it. We don't have to give any more reasons, because they're our reasons and it just doesn't work. And that's the honest truth. All right, this action taking stuff. So it's long, it's detailed, there's lots of steps that you're going to want to do. Let's just keep it simple, because it is about the habits that you've created. I like to call them daily practices. Why do I like to call them daily practices? Okay, because here's the thing. We are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And so I always say that everything we do each and every day is a practice. We're practicing on doing that particular task. We're practicing our exercise. We're practicing the squats within that exercise. We're practicing on preparing healthy food. The list goes on and on and on. We're practicing our meditation. We're practicing our journaling. So it's something that we want to do each and every day. Now, that means that if we've never done it before, it's going to be hard to put into our daily schedule. And we come out guns a-blazing in a new year. So we go, yep, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. Well, here's something I want you to think about as well too. We are 42% more likely to achieve whatever it happens to be if we write it down. So that's some research from Dr. Gail Matthews, right? And there's a whole host of science behind that as well too. So for many of us, we don't write things down. That's why I encourage you to use your journal, because it does give you that opportunity to keep writing. It gives you that opportunity to think about things a little bit more. And I'm all for reflection time. So when we want to create a new habit, I want you to take that right back, okay, to the lowest level that you can possibly take it back to. So if, for example, you want to start exercising, then you might say, okay, what I'm going to do is each morning when I make my bed, I am going to do 3 exercises as I'm making my bed. If you think that's doable. So something very, very small to start with. Then what we want to do is we want to do it each and every day till we create this habit. Now here's the thing about habits as well too. It takes a long time. So it could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 200 days to create a new habit. And what's going to happen is we're going to hear about, oh, I just don't have the motivation. Well, that's a whole other topic, that magical, mystical unicorn that I call motivation. So that is for another day. But for now, I want you to think about how you can include it in something else you're already doing. So the example I just gave you was, I'm making the bed, so I'm going to do 3 exercises. I'm going to do those 10 times. Okay, so that's called habit stacking. Now, if I could recommend any book for somebody who's trying to create some new habits, This is a great one by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. It's fantastic, and it will give you some more insight into creating habits. The other one that's really, really good is Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. It's a really great book as well too. So maybe what you could do is, because we are coming up to Christmas time, you could put one or two of those books on your list to get from your significant family, loved ones in your life. All right, so I think I've given you quite enough to do. All right, so let's recap on what we're doing. Firstly, we've got to get a journal out. If you don't have one, go buy yourself one, because I want to encourage you 2021 to make it the year that you start journaling. Okay, so we're going to do some reflection on 2020, and we're going to work out what were the things that sent us into absolute chaos. And those things, we're going to write them down. That's when we're going to use the sheet of paper, and then we're going to bury that sheet of paper. Okay, so bury it. It's out of here. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write down in our journal all of the things that work for us in 2020. We might have created new habits. We might have had some fun times. We might have connected more deeply with those people in our lives because we were forced into lockdown. It could be anything. But I want you to write down all of the positive outcomes, all of the things that particularly you're going to take forward into 2021. Once you've got all that done, then I want you to think about the word or the phrase that's going to drive you forward and help you make decisions in 2021. So every time you've got to say yes or no to something, you're going to think about this word or that little phrase. Okay, you're going to think about it before you answer. That's where the Mel Robbins rule comes in. The 5-second rule, if you haven't heard about it, before you answer, you're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It gives you the chance to pause. It gives you the chance to consciously think about it rather than being reactive. Then what you can do is start to plan out what you want 2021 to be. Now, here's the important factor, is what does health, well-being, and fitness mean to you, okay? And so I want you to map that out. What does it actually mean to you? It just doesn't mean I exercise every day. What's it mean to your body? What's it mean to your mind? What's it mean to your spirit? What's it mean to how you overall feel? And that's when you can start to think about the small actions that you can stack with something else that you can start driving 2021 towards where you want it to be. Okay. Oh, Tess is struggling with her word. Okay. That's reflection times, Tess. She's thinking about it. You know, some of the words, Tess, that I've used in the past have been intention was one of the last ones I think I used. You know, I'm moving forward with an intention, and I really like that word. It's quite strong. And so if you haven't worked out what you want life to look like, what that health, well-being, happiness sector looks like, go do that first. So think about that first, and from there your word might pop up. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come up with some words and I'll post them below after we finish. All right, so I've given you lots and lots of homework there, lots to think about. I hope that you found this really, really helpful. I want you to finish 2020 strong. I don't want you to wait till 2021, but I do want you to start to think about all of the positives that you can take forward to next year and start doing some planning. Okay, so take care, everybody. See you all soon. Bye.